I purchased the UDM Pro about a year and a half ago, and I'm just going to tell you about my experience with it. A few disappointments, what I'm excited about. It's honestly a great machine. Let me just list the disappointments right off the bat. The UDM Pro does not have link aggregation, which is a minor annoyance. You have to purchase one of Ubiquiti's switches that supports link aggregation. Not a big deal, but it is an extra expense. Then you have to think about, do I want to purchase a switch that has power over Ethernet and so on and so forth. It's something I'm going to have to decide because I do have this in-wall Wi-Fi access point that is power over Ethernet, and I'm cleverly hidden it behind this TV. And I want to be able to power that, obviously, without using a PoE injector. Apparently, the PoE injector that I purchased was 100 megabits per second. I don't know how I got tricked into purchasing 100 megabit per second PoE injector, but that slows down our Wi-Fi considerably. Not that it really matters because I'm only paying for 25 megabit per second internet, but it is a minor annoyance that I would like to upgrade to gigabit per second. Not that it really matters, but I also want to purchase another one or two in-wall Wi-Fi adapters for the far side of the house, maybe the backyard, low powered, so that the Wi-Fi doesn't reach out to the street or my next door neighbors. I also purchased a security camera, and I plan on purchasing a doorbell camera along with another 2 or 3 or 4 more security cameras. So I'm going to need power over Ethernet switch because I'm not going to power all of those using a PoE injector for each one. That doesn't make any sense. So do they have power over Ethernet? Link aggregation switches? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to have to look into that. So my big disappointment is that it doesn't have PoE and that it doesn't have link aggregation, which I believe the UDM SE has PoE. And should have bought that one. It was an extra $100. I could have saved money on the extra switch. Stupid on my part. I definitely recommend, if you plan on doing basic home security cameras and Wi-Fi access points that are PoE, should probably go with the UDM SE because you'll save money by not needing to purchase an extra PoE switch. Now, if you're doing a little bit more than just basic, if you need more than 8 PoE ports, then sure, just go with the UDM Pro and then get a PoE switch with, 16 ports of PoE. And also you'll be able to have a higher power budget for your PoE, which would be nice for your in-wall Wi-Fi access points because a lot of those have PoE pass-through. I have my PoE injector going to my in-wall Wi-Fi access point, and I have PoE pass-through going to my security camera. Not a super ideal situation, but it works for now until I get a switch that has PoE built in. I really think I'm going to go for their doorbell camera with the package camera because that one also has PoE, which would be a lot better than Wi-Fi, especially since that camera is going to be outside of a brick wall. The Wi-Fi is not going to be able to access it very well. It's going to be hitchy, and I think it would be better that it not be battery powered, but rather powered over Ethernet and connected data over Ethernet. I think that would be the right way to go, and I'm willing to spend the extra money, but then Ecobee just came out with a doorbell camera that's $170 versus Ubiquiti's $400, but Ubiquiti's has power over Ethernet, has a second camera, can record locally, which is really important to me. I don't want to pay per month for a device that I paid upfront cost on. The UDM SE has a 128 gigabyte SSD inside of it integrated into the motherboard, so that would give you an opportunity to save a little bit of footage as well as run the operating system off of an SSD instead of running it off of a 3.5-inch hard drive that you might install. it would probably run maybe a little bit better. That's not super clear, but with the UDM Pro, when you install a hard drive, for whatever reason, it installs the operating system onto the hard drive, even though it's already installed on the internal storage, the UDM Pro. And then when you pull that hard drive out, then your operating system comes out with it. I don't really understand why Ubiquiti chose to do it that way, or maybe I just don't understand what's actually happening there. Anyway, I have an old 2 terabyte hard drive that I found in an old computer sitting in there just recording the footage from the camera. That hard drive's chirping a lot, and it's Seagate, so it's gonna go out. I'm gonna replace that hard drive eventually whenever it goes out, but it's not super critical except for the fact that it has the operating system of my router installed on it. If you could explain that to me in the comments, I would greatly appreciate it. So that's another thing I like about the SE over the Pro. I think those 3 things would have been valuable enough for me to spend the extra $100 on the SE. I had a buddy, I was asking him, should I go with Netgear, should I go with a Nighthawk? And he recommended that I go with Ubiquiti because he's kind of my tech support and he doesn't want to get a call from me each and every day asking about how to configure my network. So I get that. He said he would like the SE, but it's missing some features that would really make the SE worth it. So then he was saying that he would just get the Pro because then he saves that $100 since he has to purchase these other switches anyway, like the PoE switch. Since he has to purchase those other things, he's like, you might as well just save the $100 from the SE, just buy the Pro, and then invest in the larger equipment that you can add on to your system. That makes a lot of sense to me. If I was going really big, if I had a lot of security cameras, if I needed more than 8 ports, but I don't believe that my system will ever expand that big. Right now, I'm using 6 of my ports. Most of that is being taken up by my Synology NAS right there, and this guy, and my network switch that I have underneath my living room TV to plug in all my consoles, and then the Wi-Fi access point and the security camera. So I'm using about 6 of my 8 ports. If I get more security cameras, I'm definitely going to need a few more ports. So I guess it makes sense to have a few non-PoE ports on the UDM Pro and then get a PoE switch for all of your PoE needs. I don't know, I'm just working this out in my head as I talk about it. So let me talk about a few of the things that I really love about the UDM Pro and the Ubiquiti system. It's mainly the UI, which sounds stupid because it's UI.com. It's mainly the user interface. When you log into your router, I mean, everything is graphical. I've never had a router that had a graphical user interface, which is really fantastic. I'm really excited about it. It's worked really great. It gives me log activity of all the devices in the house, so I can see how much data Google is recording and sending up to their servers. And Google uses a lot of data. What do I get in return? I get better ads. Yep. Google's Nest security system doesn't give me the option to record locally. It doesn't give me the option to record unless I pay per month to record onto their servers. They're recording everything that I say, and they're recording me walking around my house because I get these, alerts. Someone's in your kitchen, someone's at your front door. They're recording all that, they're sending it up to their servers, and I can see that with the UDM Pro. It's showing me exactly how much data is being uploaded to Google's servers. That's very interesting. Every device on my network I can limit, I can block websites to each device. It's very intricate control. It's very impressive. It's very easy to understand. It's the best router that I've ever used. Now, I've used crap routers before. I mean, Netgear Nighthawks aren't crap, but I've used the AT&T routers. I've used the Conway Corp and whatever, and this has definitely been a very good experience. So I can definitely recommend Ubiquiti. I'm going to purchase more Ubiquiti products. But here recently, I've heard in the news that Ubiquiti is trying to go to hardware as a service, where you have to pay per month to be able to use the hardware that you purchased from them. I don't want to mix this up with leasing hardware, renting hardware, or financing hardware. You purchase the hardware upfront cost, and then you pay per month in order to continue to use that hardware, even though you're not using their systems, because everything's supposed to be controlled locally according to Ubiquiti. But now you're paying them, whatever, $5 a month, $10 a month, $30 a month, in order to use your local hardware. Ubiquiti is getting kind of hammered in the news a little bit about that. I don't know if they're gonna continue down that path. I'm sure their shareholders would love them to continue down that path, but that would really put a sour taste in my mouth, and it might make me want to go to Netgear. But I really like having an all-in-one security system and networking system that's all integrated and all works together. The rest of the 8 RJ45 ports are only gigabit, and the WAN port is also gigabit, but it allows you to use one of your SFP 10 gigabit ports as your WAN port. We've got 2.5 gigabit internet in our area that I could pay for if I saw a use for it, and I could take advantage of that with the UDM Pro, because one of the SFP ports can double as a WAN port, and that's a 10 gigabit SFP plus port, so I could take advantage of the 2.5 gigabit internet speeds using one of my SFP plus ports on the UDM Pro. Or if you have multiple ISPs, then you could utilize those multiple ISPs and have failover, and that's a super neat feature that I probably would never use, but I definitely see myself using those 2 SFP plus ports once I get a NAS that has the ability to connect to the 10 gigabits. But of course you can buy more switches from Ubiquiti to have more 10 gigabit ports. They actually have a very affordable 10 gigabit switch that's SFP plus, and it has 8 ports on it, and it's like a link aggregation switch, which is really great. You could use it for like a small editing production house if you just had a few editors and a network attached storage, and have 10 gigabit for everybody. It's actually super neat. Another great thing about the UDM Pro is it has 2 10 gigabit ports, which is going to be great for me to connect my workstation computer to my NAS. If this NAS was 10 gigabit, I just added a 10 gigabit SFP, not SPF, but SFP port to my workstation computer so that I can connect it to the UDM Pro. Now I just need to get the other side of the 10 gigabit for my NAS so that I can hopefully access these hard drives at their full speed, which is 200 megabytes per second. That would definitely help with my high resolution time lapses. It doesn't really so much matter 4K footage like what you're watching right now, because that's only 100 megabits per second. Having a gigabit connection to my Synology NAS is a-okay, and it runs super smooth. It's a little choppy at times, but for the most part, it's pretty smooth. That's probably going to be next video, is me talking about my NAS. Sound off in the comments if you got any suggestions for network attached storage. I'm excited about it. It's good. I'm going to continue buying pieces at a time until I've built up my network system. Give me your thoughts. I'm curious what you guys think about this system. I really like it. I'll talk to you guys later.